CBT News, celebrating 10 years of delivering the news and content automotive professionals count on. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today. You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of Inside Automotive right here at CBT News. Today we're pleased to welcome Mr. Len Short, who is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer for Lotlinx, a SaaS provider of digital retailing and marketing technologies for the retail automotive industry. Len, thank you so much for joining us in the studio, I might add. Thanks for making the pilgrimage here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yes.
I'm boycotting remote.
You're boycotting. Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
American business lost a lot of discipline.
Yeah, it did.
Like got way too comfortable zooming it in.
Yeah. Yep.
Not taking showers. It's time to get,
a
suit on. I didn't get a suit on, but a suit on.
That's
and on
right.
an airplane, go, face to face with the customer. So I'm doing everything.
Well, we appreciate you saying that, because we've got this incredible studio here, and we love when people come in and join us here. The Zooms are great. Don't misunderstand me. For those of you,
it's a great tool.
It's a great tool. Yeah. But I agree. American business has got to move on. We got to get back to where we were, I think. And this whole notion that everybody's going to be working remotely, I think, is problematic, to say the least.
It wasn't a problem for the dealers. They're always in the store.
Right.
Hustle, there's always hustle, at least the GM chasing the numbers and so on. So, they were working hard. But if they're honest, they lost some discipline too.
Yeah, they did.
Discipline on pricing and acquisition. It's too easy to buy anything and slap any price on it. Got lazy about merchandising.
Yeah. You didn't have to do it. People would come in and, do you have the car? I'll take it. We don't even talk about price.
Yeah. And, the number one thing, I spend a lot of time with owners. Mm-hmm. My favorite people. Yeah. These guys have come up through thick and thin.
That's right.
That's right. They're on top right now, but they've seen tough times, We've got dealers panicking, but none of the owners are panicking.
Yeah.
I mean, they've seen blood before. They're not worried about the economy. They know how to do this.
That's right.
But the number one thing I hear is, most of my guys have never seen the real car business.
Yeah, that's right.
We've been above 15 SAR for as long as we can remember. They've never, I had an owner tell me a story the other day where his GM's like, well, what are we going to do when that happens? He's like, we're going to do what we always did.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Yeah, they didn't see 2008, 2009.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see a lot more discipline come back to this business.
It has to.
Yeah. And we're hearing it now. The ownership principals are putting in strict limits on days on lot for used.
Yeah.
Right. I remember buying a car at a Penske store, and the GM was telling me, "Hey, we got a 30-day hard stop.
Right.
I don't take anything that I can't just blast out of here."
Right.
And he was their number one financial. He told me they're their most profitable store in the whole Penske group.
Right.
Porsche dealer.
Yeah.
And he would take in great stuff, but he would only keep the prime Porsche. He'd dump everything else out to auction because it wasn't worth the risk for him.
Right.
So we've got owners saying, okay, 75 days, 60 days.
Right.
Now that's just the beginning. They're going to tighten that up.
Sure.
And we're going to get back to watching turn rates, watching days on lot.
Yep.
Very smart pricing. And there's some latent issues in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Affordability. We've had a asset bubble, including cars, right? We're at almost 50 grand, just shy of 50 grand on an average transaction. When you get at today's rates, when you get a $50,000 car, there's a comma in the payment.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now they're playing, they're doing stuff with balloons and leases and stuff to sort of try to keep it under 1,000.
I know. I heard 15 to 30% of the payments now are over $1,000.
Yeah. They say the average is around 780, but I don't know if that's the trailing or if that's the today average.
Right.
So,
where does all that go? Where is this headed?
Affordability is an issue.
Right.
But I'm the old dog. Yeah. Right. You can tell. And I was talking to my people, and I was saying, listen, I'm lucky. I haven't had a car loan in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think I ever had a car loan less than 10%.
Yeah.
I looked it up. My
Isn't that
first
something?
mortgage, 30-year fixed rate mortgage was 18.1%. We had 20% down.
Right.
My wife and I worked hard, put
Yep.
that all together. They checked all the sources of capital.
Oh, yeah.
And, we carried it at 18.1. So,
Yep. And happy to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, this is a shock based on what's happened
Sure.
recently, but
Sure.
it's normal.
Yeah.
We're going to normal. We're not,
Yeah.
And
Do
so
you think we'll ever go back to that normal situation where they're stacking them deep and selling them cheap? It's a fight, to the bottom, and every dealer is killing each other for the deal, and every deal's a mini, and you got a 5-month supply of vehicles out there. Do you think we'll ever go back to that?
you got to make volumes.
Yeah.
What I've observed in my time in this business is when things get tough, and they've cycled into tough times,
Sure.
there's a top, call it 30% of dealers,
Right.
who are aggressive, smart,
Yep.
shrewd, and they win. They
Right.
grow.
That's right.
Even in the worst times,
That's
they
right.
do well.
That's
okay.
right.
Then there's this kind of fat section in the middle, 60% of dealers, and no offense to anybody, but
No offense to any- no-
I'm
no
just
offense
calling
to
the
you.
way I see it.
If you fit into the 60, no offense.
Yeah. Well, but their business is good when times are good.
Right.
Their business is really bad when times are bad,
Yeah.
because you know what? The guys at the top are eating their lunch.
Yeah.
That's how they find their growth.
They were better prepared.
They were better prepared, and they're out there and they're taking
Right.
their business. They're
That's right. That's right.
they're pumping out into they're taking their business.
That's right.
And then there's the guys at the bottom.
Yeah.
Um,
That'll just
so
keep flipping over and
Yeah.
selling their store. And
so my experience is this is the most resilient and
Yeah.
smart set of business people I've
Sure.
ever come across.
Sure.
I've worked in the media business
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
entertainment business, some tough businesses.
Sure.
Brokerage, Wall Street, and there's nothing like a car dealer who knows how
Yeah, there's
to
no question
navigate, So I think the aggressive, smart, well-operated dealerships will continue to do well.
Sure.
I was trained at 14.5. Anything above 14.5, and it's a
Right.
decent franchise business.
Right.
We were at 13.9 thanks to a good
Yeah.
December, but mostly fleet.
Yeah, I know. know.
There's a lot of projections, but
Yeah.
kind of just over 14. And
Right,
it's
right.
unlikely we'll get to that 14.5 thing.
Right.
So it means it's going to be a bit of a dogfight,
It is.
going
is.
forward.
That's right. Having said that, you work from your perspective, working with hundreds, if not thousands, of dealers at Lotlinx. What is the consensus of dealers out there right now? Are they what is their, when you bring up marketing, what is their take on that? Are they saying, hey, we got to get back out there? I mean, I've spoken to some dealers, as you know, we talk to dealers all the time here, and they're going, no, we're getting back into the marketing game because it's been like shooting fish in a barrel. But those days are kind of coming to an end, and they're coming quick. I spoke to one dealer that's got a 42-day supply of vehicles, which, granted, not a huge volume dealer, but still 42-day supply. These cars are coming back, and they got to do something with them.
Cars are coming back, and I don't, I can't say I know, everything. If I did, I'd be trading options rather than in this business.
That's right.
But I think the factories need to keep their factories humming.
Yeah.
When I was out in Detroit, I was lucky to be well connected, and then the Chrysler Corporation. Lunch with the president and the chairman of Chrysler, and they were explaining. I came from New York.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand the car business, and they were like, and I was saying, this incentive spending.
Yeah.
Like these billions of dollars. I mean, really?
Yeah.
And they were saying, listen, Len, we've got steel contracts, energy contracts, union contracts going out a decade.
We almost don't have the choice.
It is so much more expensive for us to slow things down than just you don't understand the economics of this business.
Right.
I'm not sure that has fundamentally changed.
Right.
I think the manufacturers are going to produce what they can.
Right. And then you got the unions, and they want to keep those factories running as well.
So this idea that, they're going to limit,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds good. Again, if I knew for sure, I'd be trading options.
Right.
But I think we're watching, we're up 1 million cars on lots, year over year, right?
I know.
So it's now it's not at that, I think the last time was like 2017 where we had lots of inventory, but we're about halfway there.
That's
fast.
Right. That's right.
It's coming back fast.
It is.
So, I think, dealers are going to find a way to make money, and if it's in volumes, it'll be in volumes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And dealers are now reporting too that there's so many different ways to do business with consumers, whether it be online, whether it be in store, whether it be a hybrid of the two. And then we're now delivering vehicles, to consumers' front doors. Some cases driven by the OEM. We just saw Ford come in and say, well, if you guys want to sell our Ford EV products, Ford dealers, then you're going to have to abide by our new rules, these 5 different principles here. And supposedly they got 2/3 of their dealers that signed on. But that's a kind of a wedge of Ford coming in saying, we want to play a much bigger role in the sales process with these consumers, right?
Yeah, Steve Greenfield, who is going to be one of our guests at NADA, we've got a stage and some really interesting people who are going to present some forward-looking stuff. We call it Lotlinx Live from NADA. He does a great presentation on what's happening. And one of the things that stunned me and every other dealer in the room, we had a big dealer advisory board meeting, bunch of smart, really powerful dealers there. And he said, listen, what they're doing, these are the same boardrooms at Stellantis and at Mercedes and, at Ford, and what they're doing in other markets. And, in terms of owning the distribution and stuff. Believe me, that's their intention.
Right.
So don't think they're doing it there, but they don't have designs to do it here. There's going to be a lot of pressure. Now, never underestimate the dealer.
That's right.
And the power of the dealer community. And I don't think there is a place in the car business that doesn't have a local dealership. But things are changing. The most important thing though is back to this discipline, this operating discipline. Right. Dealers got to watch. Pricing, we're seeing that as a major issue. Some of these guys who've been loath to get competitive on pricing are watching their dealerships in free fall. I was in a store yesterday. I was just telling you, they can't get new inventory. It's a high-end store, right? So they're, you order one, it's going to take a while. But a lot full of, premium stuff. I walked the lot because I was waiting for a service appointment. A little older than it should have been, a little bit too many miles on it, and the prices were still crazy.
Oh, geez.
And the GM,
that dealer might be in trouble.
And I was talking to the GM, and he's like, oh man, it's really just falling apart on us. Well, it's because he's not pricing to market. We see that, we deliver, great ready to move buyers, and they'll skip over anything that's not priced right.
That's right.
They're not, gone are the days where, you can engage them. So making sure that you're pricing competitively and you're on that at pace. You're watching, you're not letting cars languish before you get serious about them. There's way too much, the first 30 days are wasted, essentially, and then all of a sudden people get serious about selling them.
That's crazy.
And it's crazy.
You got to be serious on day one.
And
they can't be in recon for 2 weeks.
So the role of machines to manage some of the ins and outs of merchandising is substantial. And it's been, people, I never like to use the AI, moniker, but, this industry has sort of been, looking at it and saying, we got that, but if, I don't know if you tried ChatGPT. Have you gone on that?
No, haven't.
You got it.
Yeah, really. I've heard
It'll
about it.
stun you.
Really?
I mean, of course, this is old news to us. We've been working on this for a long time.
Sure.
But I'm watching people. I had to the other day write a performance improvement plan for an employee. So I go into ChatGPT and I say, I give it some details.
But some of our editors use that.
It wrote the perfect thing. I mean, with ideas in it that I hadn't even alluded to.
Sure.
That was just perfect. So the idea that machines, can't be an asset when you're, when you're running a complex business that is moving faster and faster. And as you point out, customers are coming from everywhere and you're delivering everywhere. There's a lot of dynamics that, have entered this business that weren't there 10 years ago.
That's right.
And the ability for a well-operated dealership, to sort of stay ahead of it all. Frankly, it requires machines to do it. And that's essentially, I think, what dealers are, the big change is going to happen. We've watched digital retailing sort of take off because of COVID, and they were forced into a lot of this, and they've commanded it well. But now using machines to to price and merchandise cars on time, not missing a minute.
That's something.
Not missing an inch.
Why wouldn't you have that technology? And if it's available, why wouldn't you use that? Yeah. The discussions that I have with some of the CEOs of the publicly traded companies, AI continually comes up, not from me, but from them. So this is definitely something in the industry that that's here to stay, and it's going to play even much more of a bigger role, right?
So we have large, sophisticated dealer groups, and they're using our pricing platform. Mm-hmm. And I had one of the principals come to me and said, "Are you spying on us?" Because every time we're doing this test, like sure. your machines, and then sure. and then what we're doing, and we're within pennies, and we and it's right there every single time. Like, wow. Are you sure you're not hacking our email and our systems to do this? I'm like, no. It's just
that's great.
Machine prediction is remarkably powerful. Yeah. And so, I'm watching dealers adopt this. They still want control of their business objectives, sure, right? Sure. But you can have,
But even the business objectives might be better suited from AI if you think about it.
Exactly. I mean, where you make a profit can come from a lot. Not only pricing, it comes on, how quickly you turn it, and a lot of things.
Of course.
So machines can optimize that for you. So I watch dealers sort of get with this. Yeah. And they're like, listen, I got great used car guys. Yeah. But sometimes they take a day off. So,
while they're there.
And then I go on, I'm like, why is this car priced here? Why, sure. Like all of a sudden they've lost track, and they're and then all of a sudden they're making all this pricing changes.
That's right.
Machine never takes a minute off. Right. And it doesn't, and so I'm not saying that this is going to replace the dealer in any way. Yeah. But just like every other aspect of our lives, imagine washing your clothes by hand. I mean, machines help us everywhere. Like. Why not here? That's right. That's right. And I think this is going to be the big revolution that the insiders are already there. I mean, our customers are winning, and driving significantly higher PVR, better turn rates, beating their kind. We track everything. When we show reporting, it's all about performance versus market and your key competitor.
Nice.
And so, listen, how were you tracking on days on lot on this segment of used versus your key competitors? Yeah. And have we improved that? Right. Right? Because the market moves around. Sure. Right? But, that's the key measure. And, so the numbers are remarkable. And I think, I think like with any technology adoption, it'll just take some inflection point, just somebody giving it, just sort of understanding it. A lot of the slowness has been just people not really understanding what we're talking about.
What do you say to that dealer out there that says, well, I hear what you're saying, Len, and it's probably the future, and AI is all the rage, but I just finished a great year. I just finished a great 2 years in my dealer group. We made 3 times what we made in 2019. What do you say to those dealers that are still asleep?
Hey, it was a remarkable time, and if we think that was normal, God bless you, but
you couldn't need to be blessed.
What I say to dealers is, listen, the machines do exactly what you would do. Right. If you had all the data. Right. They don't, it's not like, they take you in a different direction. Yeah. It just does it exactly, but how can you keep up?
And I was going to say, they do it while you're sleeping. Yeah. I mean, that's the nice part about it. It doesn't take 3 people, in the used car department to figure out what the price should be. It's instant.
Yeah. And our approach is, let people experiment. Sure. Prove this. Yeah. Never sell it. Just show them. Right. Let them test it. Yeah. Prove it. Right. You go from, all right, I'll be the judge. Right. To, you're not going to take this away, are you? And so.
Do you get those dealers that say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you, I have 10 stores, I'm going to give you my worst performance?
Every time. Really? That's what we ask for.
Really?
Okay. I don't want all 10 of your stores. Yeah. I want you give us your worst ones. Right. That's what they always, the smart ones always do. Okay, we're going to test it. They give you, the worst performing. Right.
You end up looking like a star.
There you go. Yeah. And so, so it's better. I've learned in this business. And that's why we've grown. Yeah. Very nicely and quietly.
You guys have been all over the place.
Just because Incredible. It sticks. It sticks.
That's right.
If you earn it and you bring your customer along. And you've gotten
the attention of so many OEMs. I mean, you're on the list of a number of OEMs that are like.
And we do a lot of business with them, and and the OEMs have similar issues. A lot of anyway, I think this is going to be one of these things that actually is the most material change. that's going to sneak up on the business. On the business.
Yeah, on the industry.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and to your point earlier when you said that today's managers and salespeople don't know the real industry unless they've been in it for a long period of time. But with the high turnover in the automotive industry, chances are a good portion of that dealership today, they were not in it in 2018 and 2019, or maybe even back later.
They'll figure it out. Listen, I'm never not impressed with people in the car business. I'm not ever. I'm always blown away. It's my favorite place to be. Yeah. As I say, I've been around a lot, and it's a great group of people.
Yep.
Sometimes you go through these shifting of gears. I mean, that's what happened. Last quarter.
Right.
A lot of dealers were, oh my God, it's different.
Yeah, it is.
Like
it was.
Last month, I could sell everything. Now I can't sell anything.
Right.
They were in kind of free fall a little bit. A lot of them were panicking.
Yeah.
They were,
Oh, for sure.
And some of them were, cutting back, like, oh, we're not making any money. Oh my God, we have to. That's not going to last long.
No.
So we'll see. I think I shouldn't be in the business of predictions. I think there are a lot of points of view on what's going on in the economy that range from, hey, not so great to, it could be awful.
Right.
It feels like to me, it's going to be a decent business for the people who, get disciplined.
Yeah.
That top third who are going to be aggressive and smart.
Yep.
And, if it's 14-2 or whatever, there's room in there. I'm afraid that it's going to be a lot like the 70s and early 80s. I think we've got accustomed to these big crashes and quick rebounds.
Right.
And if you remember, you're younger than I am, but the 70s, it just ground on sideways.
I know it did.
It was a grind.
It was brutal
for a long time.
Right into the 80s and the Reagan administration, and he didn't fix it that quick.
It
took time.
Yeah, they almost threw him out because he was, he stuck to his guns.
Those first couple of years were tough.
They were tough. And so it may be that what we're up against is a decent business for those who are highly competitive and disciplined.
Yeah.
And a tough, long grind for those who aren't.
That's right. I agree. Well, let's leave it there. Len Short, Chairman and CEO of Lotlinx. Folks, I really encourage you to get over to the Lotlinx booth this year at NADA in Dallas. Their program, I'm telling you, because I took a full demonstration of it before today's conversation, it will blow you away. I mean, this is kind of futuristic stuff that we've been waiting for in the auto industry. And as you know, as car dealers, we're sometimes late to the game on this technology. These guys are on it. You have to see, you owe it to yourself and your bottom line. You've got to spend some time at Lotlinx booth. Just go, hey, Jim told me to come over from CBT News. Show me what you got. And if you're not as impressed with this thing, it doesn't blow you away, I'd like to hear from you on it. So, Len, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
So, thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick. Delivering the news dealers count on for 10 years. Subscribe today and join thousands of other automotive professionals. CBT News, 10 years strong.